Hello everyone, my name is Corazar, and welcome back to the Vintage Story Guide. We are back in the world, and surprise, it's raining. Okay, not really surprise. But we are back in this world, and we have brought with us technology this time around. In the last episode, we put together the powertrain for our tower over there, our windmill. And I guess we turned it from a tower into a windmill. We fed that power down here into a helve hammer that is silently swinging, hitting nothing right now, which is good because it's very loud. And we went over how to use the helve hammer to pound out iron ingots from blooms and to craft plates. And that's what we're going to do some of today, because I want to speed up our tower, because our single helve hammer going at this speed takes forever to do anything. And for that, we are going to need more power and probably lower torque, because we have a couple options. One, we could come in here and we could just throw some more windmills on and then build several more hammers around here. Or we could instead put more windmills on, same thing, but gear it up down in a transmission room and send that faster power over to our helve hammer. And I think I want to do that this season because we didn't do it at all last season, and I want to tinker with it and just see how fast this thing does go. Now, in order to do that, we need a lot of resin. And it just so happens that I was pretty busy between episodes. First, I checked the date, and sure enough, it was over 8 days after we had last harvested our resin, so I went out to our pine trees and harvested some resin. I also poked my nose a little deeper into the forest that we found last time, and I did find a few more resin trees. Then, to round things out, I stopped by Jasper's place, and Jasper had actually got some more resin, so cha-ching, and away we go. And we now have that more resin right here. We got 25 more resin on top of the 12 that we had before, so we are set. We are set. We can make another gear, we can make 3 more helve hammers if we wanted to. We are probably set for resin for most of the rest of the game, because there aren't really that many more uses for resin. Now that isn't all that I've been doing. I did a few chores between episodes, and I also got around to painting our Bony soil, and let me tell you, this was some nice soil. This is like the terra preta of Bony soil. Let's take a look. Wow. We got 2 diamonds, 2 gold nuggets, 2 rib cages, 7 copper arrowheads, 15 flax fibers, which is almost a whole single piece of linen. We got a gold coronet, which I think is pretty cool. I think we can put that on our head. It looked kind of dumb, but we'll cover it up. We found 2 copper spearheads, another cultured tavern tuning cylinder. We got 2 more aged red brick lore books about Tobias. 4 flint arrowheads, a piece of copper chain, which is worth 2 copper ingots, 2 nuggets of silver, 3 rusty gears, and a bunch of bones. I'm excited about the coronet just because it's kind of neat to have. They're kind of rare. But also about this lore. Let's see what we get from these. Ooh, we got reflection part 5 of 5, and I think... Oh, we got something else new. Return part 1 of 2. Cool. So we now have all of reflection in our journal, which means that at some point soon I want to sit down with all of you and read through those. But for now, we're going to go to the very last page. So if you want to stop and read that right now, you may. And then we got return part 1 of 2. And here is that. So, exciting stuff. We'll put this away soon. But this gold here is actually relevant to today's task, because I want to restore this armor today, and I want to use our new souped up helve hammer to do it. I'll be straight with you, I don't really find much use in a single helve hammer powered by 1 windmill or even multiple windmills, unless you're gearing it up. That's why I'm not really making heavy use of it before we enhance it, because it's not really that much faster than doing most things by hand. And in fact, for most things, it's slower. Sure, if you spend your time and hammer durability to help it, you can make iron ingots a lot faster, but plates, not really worth it with a single helve hammer, to be honest. But yes, so we want to repair these objects, this armor here. So let's see what that will require. So for the pants, we're going to need some iron chain. Iron chain requires 2 ingots, and it's actually going to be better if we hammer it out into plates first, so we can then just sort of knock out individual pieces to make the iron chains. And then, once we get that, we can go to the full Forlorn Hope greaves, and here you'll see we need a gold plate in addition to the iron plates. And that's why we need this gold. For the breastplate, we're going to need a gold chain, so 2 more gold ingots. We'll need some blue cloth, but we have plenty of blue dye and plenty of cloth to dye into that. And then we're also going to need 2 more gold plates. So we're looking at 5, 6, 7, 8 gold ingots so far. And then the helm is going to be nothing there as far as gold, but we do need a gold plate here, so that is 10 gold ingots. Now, we don't have exactly the most gold in the world, and of course the gold we do have I left back at the old house because I haven't moved everything just yet. So we have 1 more gold ingot in addition to that, so yeah, we're sitting on 15% of a single gold ingot. That's not a lot. Hello. Ooh. Wow. Let's get inside. So we have our work cut out for us. We need to upgrade our helve hammer, go dig out some gold, and then put this armor back together using everything we have. Now luckily we do know where there is some gold. If we head down south here, I believe it was. Nope, it was over here where Jasper is. In our bauxite mine, there is a vein of quartz containing gold. So we'll start there, and if we don't find enough there, then we'll have to widen our search. But I am certain that we can find enough gold for 10 ingots in the course of today's episode. So let's put you back on the stand there, and let's go talk about what to do with our powertrain. Now let's start by reviewing our current powertrain. So up here we have 2 windmills that are not sitting on dirt. No, not one of them. Definitely not. We have 2 windmills that are operating at essentially what is a speed of 1, so we'll call it. They are the inputs. They come into a large gear that, according to the wiki, changes from a 1-to-1 ratio to a 5-to-1 ratio. So we're down gearing from 5 to 1. And we come down here and through the ground and down here into our transmission room, where we have a second gear that is gearing up the ratio in a 1-to-5. So from input to output, we are at a 1-to-1 speed ratio and 1-to-1 torque. Now, what we're going to do here is we are going to add a second large gear, and I may end up just moving this large gear up another block. And we are going to have this output here go into the large central axle of a second large gear. And then this output will feed off of that large gear. And what that will do is we're going from 5 to 1, or going from 1 to 1/5, back up to 1, and then up to 5. So we are going to effectively be having the speed of 5 windmills, or the speed of 5 helve hammers on the other end, but at the cost of torque. And torque is important. Torque is a measure of how hard your machines can turn, whereas your power is more about how fast they go. And just like in a car, the more torque you have, the less power typically, and the more power you have, the less torque typically. Now, we don't have a power band to work with like a car might, but we do have to take into consideration the resistance of our machines, the slight resistance of all of our turning parts, and hopefully we'll have enough torque to turn our helve hammer at 5 times speed. Now, it might not be 5 times speed of the wind's speed, because given that we're going to be having 4 windmills outputting the power into a system that requires 5 windmills worth of power to run these at full 1-to-1 speed, it might be more like we're getting 3 or 4 times the speed of the wind, but that's okay. It's still nice to have a single helve hammer smashing things out at record speed rather than having to build 4 separate helve hammers. So let's get chopping. We're going to break this up here. Break it up, you two. You break it up too. And we are just going to see if we can pop this large gear right here. Hey, we can. Great. And then we're going to move this guy out of the way and all of these. There we go. And then we are going to pop a... I guess we'll do it like this. We'll put you there temporarily. And then... Actually, I think here is where we need to go. Nope, it's not. So we'll put you there. And then we need a ladder again to get up here. And we should be able to do something a bit like that. There we go. So you'll see that the central shaft is spinning slowly. These are spinning faster. These are spinning this at a 1-to-1 ratio. And then we have this one that's going at nutso speed, which is just what we want. So we're going to throw this on here, and we're going to see just how fast or not our helve hammer goes once I get up here and it can actually... There we go. And you'll see the whole system is going to pause for a second as the game recalculates how much torque it has, how much power it has, how much wind there is. And we only have light wind, a gentle breeze here, so I really don't expect anything to come out of this at the moment. And that means that we need to do one of two things. Either we need to gear this back down, which isn't what we're here for, or we need to have more input. So let's get on the input side of things and go work on that part of the equation. So let's get on up here onto our tower. We're going to put our next windmill, or our next rotor, right up here. And there we go. As you can see, with that additional input power, even with a moderate breeze, it's not going fast. It's barely going at all, but it's still faster than before. Now, we actually have a source of even more power that resides over yonder. Right there. It's not a full windmill, but you know what? Any additional power will help. So I'm going to go get that. I'm going to throw it on here, and then we'll see how fast this whole system turns. If it turns. I'm sorry, old buddy. You served us well. It's time to find you a new home. Okay, so we still have just a gentle breeze, and that's okay. Now, if we had built our tower taller, significantly taller, we could get up to a 50% wind speed bonus. But we didn't do that in this series because I thought it might look funny, and we're going to be getting probably like a 2% bonus to our wind speed here, because the wind speed bonus doesn't start until you're at 21 blocks above sea level. But let's go take a look at how this is going in here. Look how fast this is turning. Bang, 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 bang. This is going to serve us, even in a gentle breeze, much better than the single helve hammer on a non-geared up system. Look at that thing go. Now, we still have, on this over here, we still have 2 more sails we could add. That would give us another 40 potential kilonewtons of output, but we don't quite have enough flax for that yet, and that will happen probably in the next few days. We have a flax harvest up here, along with a drifter harvest, apparently. Yeah, so we probably have a few days left in these guys, 7 out of 9. And we also have a harvest out here that is not quite as far along. Looks like 6s and 7s out of 9. So in a few days, we will be able to add those 2 more sails on, and then that will be a little bit more powerful. And there is kind of like a hump that you have to get your torque over, after which point you don't really need more torque, it's all about the power. And I think we're not quite there yet. In fact, we might even need 1 more windmill in order to get over that hump of torque. But I think for now, given that we are going along at quite the speed here, I think this is plenty for today's work. And what is today's work, Kurazar? Well, that is, I'm going to start by hammering out a ton of iron blooms, because we're going to need a lot in order to repair this armor. It's still a good bit less than it would be to actually make our own suit of iron or meteoric iron full plate, or any full plate really, but it is still a significant amount. In fact, I'm not even sure we have enough, so I'm going to start a few more bloomeries before I even get started here. And yep, once we're done with that, we will get to pounding out plates and chains, and then I think after that, or when the wind dies down to nothing, then we will go and search for some gold. You know what I'm going to say? Let's get to it. Okay, everyone, as you can see, I put away our stuff because we managed to get through all of our blooms, and we have 42 iron ingots now, and we did the math, and we actually only need 32 ingots of iron, because we need 16 plates, and we'll turn half of them into chains, and then the other half we'll use as plates, and the rest of it is gold and some blue cloth. So we are actually set on the iron. And I did think about maybe just doing some iron plates tonight, but you know what? I think I want to... Well, it is night. It is windy. So you know what? I'm going to fire things back up, and let's just get these done and get them going on. Oh, hush you. Let's get our 2 stacks of iron ingots that we'll need, just so we have them all counted out. There we go. We'll load them up in here. And let's get these firing. Let's get these on here. And again, make sure you choose the plate option. Otherwise it will just start smashing out a plate-shaped variant of whatever we're trying to make by accident. And let's just pick you guys up and we'll get the next set on here. So when you are managing a helve hammer in this fashion, you're going to be sort of needing to mind your forges more than anything. Now we have basically, I'm going to say this is running at about 2 to 2.5 times the speed of a full regular helve hammer in a gale wind at a 1-to-1 ratio, because our windmills here aren't turning super fast. Like, they are still struggling to turn, so we're not getting the most speed out of this just yet. But make sure you try to get an equilibrium going on, like I don't have going on here. So I think what we'll do is, now we'll go ahead and light this one after all, because this is going pretty quick. I think we're going to have some overheated ingots here, but that's okay. Better than wasting time. Now typically, if I have a full 4 helve hammer set around an anvil hooked up to 4 windmills, I will typically use probably 3 forges. It depends what I'm working on, but generally for things like blooms or plates, it'll be 3 forges. And that will supply enough material to work on constantly without having to wait for any of the forges to heat up, or without ending up with a lot of orange glowing metal in your inventory. So yep, I'm going to keep going on this for probably most of the night, or at least till we're done with these ingots here. And then I will see all of you on the morrow as we are going out to dig up some gold. Alright folks, here we are at our bauxite quarry, and somewhere down here there is a deposit of quartz, and I believe it's this one. Let's see. Y51, that's this right here. And I brought my dead pro pick with me and no fresh one. Great. Okay. Well, that's fine. We are just going to pick a direction and we're going to go. Not that one, apparently. I guess we'll just pick a different direction and go, won't we? Yeah. How about this way? Here we go. Alright, well, I'm going to get to this, and I will see all of you, hey, look at that right there, on the other side of some serious quartz mining. And I suspect we're going to end up with a lot of quartz and a very minimal amount of gold. Let's see, what do we have here? Now we're sort of in the thick of things. I didn't want that, I wanted this. We have medium amounts of gold, so okay. We might end up with enough gold from this. Wish me luck. Alright guys, I am not quite done yet, in fact not anywhere near done. We still have, let's see, I started about halfway down here. We have a good bit to go down this way, and there is some gold in these here areas. But I want to take a break and show you something that I found. Check it out, some rose quartz clusters. So we have, I think, some milky ones at home. These are a nice pink color, and I am here for it. That's a pretty lucky find. So I'm just going to grab these, and this might necessitate a run home because my inventory is getting pretty full. I've already filled up the basket on my back, and we might need to just go dump off our goodies, including these beautiful little crystals. Is that fun or what? Oh, I may have sort of buried lead too. We already have a lot of gold going on here too. I don't think we're quite at 10 plates worth. So I do think we need a bit more. And I think, is it 10 plates or 10 ingots? No, I forget. Okay, just checked. It is 10 ingots, not 10 plates. So we might, I don't know. That alone is about half of what we need, I think. So we'll keep going. I'm going to go until our pickaxe breaks, and then I'll probably run home. Maybe make a couple more pickaxes and come back if there's still more to go. But yep, we have plenty of gold left to find here. Alright everyone, we are back home, and we have this much gold in order of bountiful, rich, medium, and poor. I had that right the first time, yep. Now, we're going to smash these up with the hammer I have in my hand here, but these two, I'm going to say they're off limits because they're really rare. So we're going to keep them up in here, and we'll put them on display at some point. Maybe even we'll swap out some of the things we have on display out in our living room. But let's go ahead and get smashing here. Let's see, what do we have? 76. Ooh, I think we're going to make it. Yep, we're going to make it. We don't have a ton left over. We have a few ingots left over, but we made it. We have enough for what we need today. And that is going to be basically 100 at each of these stacks. So combined with the rest of our nuggets, we have 3.5 ingots worth left. Now luckily, when we go to repair our Forlorn Hope armor, we will not need to use any gold. So that's not an issue. Here we go. We got our 1,000 units of gold in the fire. Let's go ahead and heat that up. We'll preheat it. Why not? Since we have the wood here. And then let's get out. There we go. 10 of our ingot molds. And let's just put them out on the floor here. This isn't my favorite spot for them. I think along with the hallway down to our future cementation furnaces, I think I'm going to put like a shelf or even a separate room for pouring ingots into molds, or pouring metal into molds. But for now, this will do just fine. And these need some decently hot fuel, so we'll just go with some of this, and we'll get this going on. Okay. With those cooling, I think we should go and get some of our other required materials ready, including, in particular, the cloth that we need. We need 2 pieces of blue cloth, and I thought, yes, okay, we did make some woad blue dye. Let's come over here. We're going to grab a bit of cloth. I'll leave those 2 there just to keep their place. And You go like that. Now, because we are doing woad blue, we don't need to use a mordant. We can just chuck these right on in. And there we go. Come back in 8 hours. And then while all that is going on, let's get our chain going. We need to do several pieces of, several pieces of iron chain. And I think we need to do 8, but let me count them first. Okay, yes, we need 8 pieces of iron chain. We're going to stack up 4 plates in each forge. And I already have my coal out. We'll just heat these up a wee bit. And what we're doing is, because chain is built on a flat, or built out of a flat piece of iron, and it requires 2 ingots anyway, it is always more economical from a time standpoint to make your plates first, preferably on a helve hammer, and then take your plates over to a manual anvil and finish out the chains. Now, that is not at all how chain is made in real life, but we don't really have an extruder or anything in a vintage story to make wire and then, like, chains out of that. I don't know how Tyron would implement that in the first place, but maybe we'll find out. Now, once you have your plates in hand, it is as simple as dropping the plate on the anvil, picking iron chain, and then carefully knocking out each of these spots here until you're done. And that's one down. As you can see, very simple, very easy to do, and much nicer than having to try to smash 2 ingots down into a plate and then remove a bunch of material at once. That is just too much. I've done it before, and I can say it is not something I particularly enjoy doing. Anyway, folks, I'm going to get this done, and by then, I do think we should have some cooled golden ingots and possibly woad blue cloth that we need for our armor. Alright, folks, I think it's been long enough. We should... Yeah, here we go. We have our 2 blue cloth. So let's get over to the living room and let's suit up. Alright, my friend, you're coming with me, and so are you, and so are you. And you know what? We'll take you two as well. Just so we can see what everything looks like once we are all put together. Now, we need to fix up all of these, so let's start with the helm. I'm going to just bring up our little handy-dandy cheat book here. So we have that. And then we have this. There's one complete Forlorn Hope helm with 1600 durability. And check out those stats. 96% protection and high damage to resistant. So that means that if we are attacked by a nightmare drifter or a double-headed drifter, then the reduction in protection will be cut in half, which is pretty nice. The breastplate. Let's see. Let's get you going on here. I have to actually bring you up again, don't I? Okay, so blue cloth goes here. You should go up there. Chain, 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 chain. Yes. Looking better. And now we have gold plate, iron, iron, and one complete breastplate. Again, same durability, same stats. And then the leggings. Or the greaves, I should say. So like that. And then gold plate, plate, and the greaves. Alright. Is everyone ready? Let's put these on. Look at that. Let's get our shield in our offhand. And our sword. My, look at us. Don't we look regal? Regal and menacing, I think, in a way. But that is some cool stuff. We are wearing the armor of heroes. And boy, am I feeling heroic. And I am feeling adventurous. And I am feeling like we are about ready to maybe go and tackle the Resonance Archive. Now, that may not happen immediately, It's not going to happen in the next episode, because I kind of want to scout the terrain out first, maybe even build like a little temporary shelter out there so we can store whatever cool things we find inside, or just have a safe place to retreat to. But let's take a spin in this armor. As you'll note, it is very noisy. We haven't worn armor this noisy in this series before, but it is kind of noisy, yeah. And on top of that, it's going to slow us down. As you can see, we're pretty slow as we move around here. Actually, I think this had a similar sound, but it was more of like a chains sound. But even on the gravel, we're still a good bit slower than we usually are. That's because our normal speed, which is 110%, has been cut to 86%, which means that in this armor, we won't be able to get away from a lot of the enemies that we can escape from in our gambeson over here. So here's what we look like running on grass in this armor. If we put our regular stuff back on, we're quite a bit faster now. Other things to know about wearing heavier armor is that it is going to increase our hunger a lot more, so we can be pretty hungry folks while we're there. And it also reduces our healing. It wasn't as big of a deal with the Lamellar, but if we look at our healing effectiveness, it is cut to 49%. So each of these will only heal us about 3.5 hit points when we use them, which means that when we go adventuring, we're going to want to keep this around because this has a much smaller healing debuff of 30%. So we'll probably want to wear this when we need to stop and heal. That way we don't have to take our armor off fully to heal effectively, and we'll be able to heal up a bit more effectively in general, while also not sacrificing our protection as much. But we're going to put this away on here for now. And you, and you. And we will take this with us when we go to the Resonance Archive. I think there are a few things we need to do around here to prep. We need to make some food. We need to talk about long adventures. And I think that's about it. I think I might want to wait until both sets of flax have matured, and I can harvest them and just plant some new stuff and walk away for a while. So I think that's what we'll do. We'll probably, I may even just pass a couple days here doing some chores. We only have a few days left here anyway for this. But yeah, I'll start getting ready for our adventure, and then we'll head out. Anyway, everyone, that is about all the time we have for this episode of the Vintage Story Guide. I hope you enjoyed our adventures in gearing up our helve hammer and how to go about doing that, as well as the available options. If you want to see a 4 helve hammer setup, you can always check out the first season of the guide series. We made 2 of those actually. And I hope you enjoyed our adventure in rebuilding this Forlorn Hope armor. I think it looks great. As always, my name has been Corazar. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.